Obviously, for white people, it was better to live under apartheid for white people. That was the tragedy and the tyranny of apartheid. I've been told that I need to remind everybody to like or subscribe or hit the little bell thingy. Don't know what the little bell thingy is, but hit the little bell thingy. That's apparently the YouTube thing to do. Two conversations that stuck out for me on social media and media yesterday. The first question was apartheid South Africa or the democratic new South Africa, which is worse? It's a comparison, unfortunately, between which is the lesser of two evils, and it's a legitimate, reasonable question to ask, and that's probably the greatest tragedy. Obviously, for white people, it was better to live under apartheid for white people. That was the tragedy and the tyranny of apartheid. I can give you this consideration in considering which was worse. The apartheid government was at least honest in its tyranny. That's my first point, in that when you were a non-white person, you knew who your oppressor was. You knew what was causing your oppression. It was the law, it was what was dictated by government, and everywhere you went, you saw it. You went into a toilet, you went into a restaurant, you went into a hotel, you went into a shopping mall, you went into a center, you went into an office park, you went to your job, and the sign said, whites only. You knew who your oppressor was. There was no doubt who is the oppressor today, is the question. This is the second thing that came out. A guy on radio phoned, a white guy actually, and he said, you know, you're so frustrated with human rights and with the human rights commissions and the human rights lawyers and the human rights activists, because the human rights lawyers, activists, etc. seem to be focusing on all the small stuff. They focus on the cutest monkey in the jungle t-shirt as an advert by a company, and then money is spent, then action is taken. But who's fighting for the basic human rights of South Africans in the country today who are not having even their basic services and human rights established for them? On the news at the moment, where sewage is running through one of the settlements, but the people don't even have taps running water to flush the sewage out their house. At night, they don't have a light to switch on to go find the tap that isn't there, to turn the water that won't run because it's not connected, even if there was a tap, to flush the sewage out. And they don't even have a toilet that is made on their behalf. These are basic human rights written into the Constitution. The right of life and lifestyle, and the government receives, the authorities receive taxpayers' money to provide this, yet they haven't even started building the dam to take water to those people. These people don't have sewage, they don't have wastewater, they don't have roads to their villages, they don't have infrastructure so that the opportunity that is there can be harnessed, the equal opportunity. It's not being provided for them to actually make a go of their lives. The unemployment rate is through the roof. They don't have food and they can't feed their children and they can't get them to school. Those are the basic human rights that perhaps are more tragic and more severe and more urgent than the cutest monkey in the jungle. And apartheid ended in 1994. It started being dismantled in 1988. It was from 1948 to 1988 was apartheid. Uninterrupted apartheid. Then it was interrupted, being dismantled. I'm 50 years old. I am older than apartheid. And it ended 27 years ago now, which is more than half my life ago. To blame apartheid for the current situation today is short-sighted, although we can all acknowledge that there is legacy from apartheid that still affects people today. It is not legacy of apartheid that is not taking services to the people that need it, because it's not in the hands of the apartheid government anymore. It's in the hands of the new regime. Apartheid was a regime of power. This is a regime of power. They even quite happily say, we are in power, not in service. We are not in here as custodians of the country. We are in power to do what we want. There's factional fighting even in the ANC. They are in power. The greatest tragedy of that question is that it is relevant and reasonable even to ask, comparing it to a tyranny of apartheid. It might even be worse. Let the black, Indian, colored people of South Africa perhaps decide which one was better and which was worse. As a white person, I don't think I'm qualified. I don't know how bad it was for the rest of the country prior to 1994. I do see how bad it is for many of them now. My name is Dean Haystack, and I'm just a guy who gives a damn. That's kind of my thought process on all of that. So, hit the bell. I don't know what that means. Subscribe, like, share, and all that stuff which YouTube apparently requires in order for me to become a hit. My name is Dean Haystack, the Dean, and you're listening to The Coffee Conversation.